Hello, my crafty friends. It is a lovely Tuesday evening here in Texas. Welcome to Grandma Katie's Custom Quilts. Remember the cancer quilt that I had put the top together? All those beautiful pink blocks of different shades. So I layered the quilt. I pulled out my quilt frame and got it together this evening. And the quilt is on the frame. I will show you. There it is. The view of that, there it is on the frame. And you will get to see how I quilt by hand with my quilt frame. And yes, I am going to use my thimble. I have a small black leather type thimble that I get. It's from, I believe it's from Dritz, and it is a medium-sized thimble. The leather part actually helps me to grip that needle, so the needle doesn't go through my finger. And I've got 2 spools of white thread. I don't think it's going to take this much. This is a partial, about a half a spool. That's probably, I will more than likely use this one up. Might start on that one, but I'm not sure. So anyway, I've got my spools of thread ready, and I went through all of my needles in my sewing drawer where I keep my needles, and I found 6 quilting betweens that I like the sizes of them. They're small enough that I like them. They're going to give me the size of stitches that I want. With the 9s and 10s, I can get 4 to 6 stitches per inch, and that's what I want. So that's going to give me a good stitch length there. So here we go. Let's get this quilt started. Okay, so here is my first needle. I'm going to see if I can show it to you. There it is. There is my quilting needle. And I know that probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you, but as I start sewing, you will not be able to see it very well because it's going to be in between my big fat fingers. And oh, I guess I need a pair of small scissors to cut the thread with. I almost forgot my scissors. There we go. That's better. Move all these extra things out of the way. Oh, let's get a knot in the end of that thread. And with quilting thread, I only use 1 strand. I never double my quilting thread. And again, I'm only sewing from the top side. I'm only sewing from the top side of the fabric. I've got my right hand under the quilt. If you're right-handed, your left hand will be under the quilt, okay? So here we go. I'm going to go down here and there, and I'm going to snip my thread, and then I'm going to go like that, the opposite. And then I'm going to go across there, down here, down there, like that. And I'm going to do each 1 square at a time. So here we go, my first few stitches. And I know that's really difficult to see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 stitches in there already. And I'm just going to pull my needle through like this. And I'm going to be very careful. There we go. All right, that knot is layered in the batting now. Okay, so. And I'm just barely poking the tip of the needle through the fabric, and this is called a running stitch. For those of you who have never hand quilted before, or you're new to quilting, that's what this is called. It's called a running stitch. So you want to, and I try to pull it as often as possible and keep it tight. There we go. And I keep my hand under the quilt so that my needle doesn't go too far because I don't want very big stitches. I want teeny tiny stitches. There we go. And sometimes I have to re-grip my needle. I have to readjust what I'm doing with the needle so that I don't lose it altogether. There we go. And oh, by the way, since this is a cancer quilt, a cancer survivor quilt, I'm going to say, I am going to see if I can find the ribbon pattern, you know, the little ribbon. I'm going to see if I can find a pattern for that and draw that on each of these squares that are in the middle and quilt around that so that that ribbon is present as well. Because since this is a cancer survivor quilt and all of this is pink, I feel like I should be quilting that ribbon in here somewhere. So that's where I plan to put that ribbon. Or maybe just every other square or some block or something maybe. And I love the way these blocks came out. I think they came out absolutely beautiful. That's the only thing about getting your thread really long is sometimes it will catch on things and you don't want it to. Where did my needle? Oh, there's my needle. Okay. The needle stayed in the fabric. I'm glad of that. And the reason I got so many needles is because I have a tendency to either bend my needles to the point where I can no longer use them because I have a really strong grip, or sometimes I will drop the needle and I can't find it. So I'll have to get a new needle. So, and then I found, when I was putting all those needles that I had found from my very old needle books, when I was putting my quilting needles in my pin cushion, I found there were 3 other quilting needles already in that pin cushion. So and I do wish you could get a closer up picture of what I'm doing. I'm sorry you can't. It's not possible to get a close-up picture of just exactly how I am doing this. Okay, so I got that now, and because I'm left-handed, it's really difficult for me to go up there and up there. So I'm going to make a knot in this. I just did I just kind of made an X, and then I went through that loop like 3 times. Now I'm going to put the end of my needle in that same hole where this thread came out of. And I'm going to go in through the batting, only through the batting. I'm not going out the back side of the quilt this time because I don't want the thread to show on the other side. And I only went about maybe an inch or an inch and a half, and I came out and I heard that little snap where the knot went in between the fabric and the batting. So I know my knot is secure. And that's what I was going for. You always want to make sure you hear that little snap, or you want to feel that knot go in between your fabric and your batting. Because you can, even if you don't hear it, you can feel it. PVC pipe actually is what it is. You can see right here, I can roll it towards the quilt and loosen it, or I can roll it away from the quilt and tighten it up. Like that. See how it loosens? And now it's tight. So, sorry, I'm probably repeating myself. And if I am, I apologize. I have a tendency to do that, I know. Okay, get my thimble back on. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna, I need to, okay, that knot is under the batting. All right, and this right here, I do believe that in a previous video, I mentioned to you all that when I am layering my quilts, sometimes I will use a number 4 basting pin, and they just look like really large safety pins is what they look like. And I've got one, well, I have one here. Here, I'll show you this one. Just looks like an oversized safety pin. There it is, right there. It's actually pretty good size. There it is. Okay, so that's what I used to baste this quilt with. It was very easy. It went very quick. It didn't take me very long to get the quilt basted. So It's either that, because I ran out of my June Taylor basting spray. And I thought, and I figured that because I am hand quilting this, I would rather put the basting pins in it so that my needle doesn't get gummed up with all that spray. I'm not sure how that spray would do on my hand quilting needles, so I just prefer to. That stitch was way bigger than I wanted it to be. And that's the thing, be mindful of your stitches. And this needle seems to be really slick, and it's going through this cotton batting and this fabric so easily. I'm loving it. But I don't want it to go through so easily that that my stitches are really big. This way, kind of that. Okay. And I'm not quilting right exactly in the seam. I am maybe 1 or 2 threads away from the seam. And I have seen some quilters go a full 1/4 inch inside that seam. They will mark the quilt and go a full 1/4 inch inside there, which I think, and they look beautiful when they do that. I haven't exactly learned how to, well, I could do it. I would have to mark all my blocks before I put it on the frame probably, but anyway, I'm not right in the seam. That's all I wanted you to know. All right, here is the inside of that square, and that is, okay, 2, 3 loops, well, 3 passes inside that loop, and then I'm just going to hold that down with my finger so it's as close to that fabric as possible. And here we go. How far can I? There it is. Okay, I heard it. We do. Okay. And that's why you don't want your knot to be very big, is because if the knot is too big, it won't go through that little hole that your needle just made. Okay. For some reason are very thick, and I'm not sure what that is going on in there. I'm not sure if it's something in the batting that's making that extra thickness, but that's why I'm only taking a couple of stitches at a time. It's been a little bit difficult to get my needle in there. There we go. Got it. Okay, now let's go down this side here, see what we can do here. And when I hit a spot that sometimes is a little bit too thick, that's where I end up bending my needle. Because I'm trying to push it through something it doesn't want to go through, so. This evening it's very warm. I think I told you all I live in Texas. It is still in the 60s at night, and it is really warm under this quilt. So anyway, I just wanted to show you how I do my hand quilting and the progress that I am making on this quilt. So there it goes. Okay, got that knot under there. Okay, now for these really long seams that go the length and the width of the quilt, I'm going to do those as one continuous quilting stitch. So once I get these 6 blocks, or maybe even these 9 blocks quilted, I will start from here and I will go down here, and then down here, like in one continuous quilting thing. So that's the reason I didn't go like this around the outside of the sashing. So anyway, there it is. There is our first block has been quilted. All right, folks, that is it for this evening. I hope you all are having a good week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.